Hi-ho, this is Kermit the Frog, and you're listening to a brand new episode of the 12A podcast brought to you by the Four-Eyed Radio Network. Yay! If you would like to check out more shows, go to foureyedradio.com. Yay!
Hey there, Eric here from Socially Awkward Studios, and this Four-Eyed Radio presentation is being proudly brought to you by Raven Designs, illustration and design that fit your personality. For samples and inquiries, visit ravencruise.com.
Hey everybody, this is Jeff. I'm sorry if I get distracted during the podcast as I might be petting my dog.
Hey, and this is Steven. I'm sorry if I get distracted, I might be petting myself.
Welcome to the 12A podcast, where you're going to learn about movies, entertainment, and a lot of other cool stuff. And now, here are two guys, a girl, and a dog with a lampshade on its head, and you get to figure out who's who. There you go. Terrible intro. I just wanted to do that. Yes.
Production.
Improv, yes.
All right.
Improv.
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks, Sammy,
I'm
for that intro.
To talk about streaming movies and stuff, but I'm actually on a dog grooming website right now.
Yes.
Jeff has his first kid right now.
Yep.
Pretty much this is what is going
right.
on.
We all went through that.
Yeah, we all went through that, and that was the step one. And I told Jeff
Yep.
this. Like, we had the dog before we had the kid, and that was if the dog survives the year, all right, let's do the kid thing.
Right.
You know, and my kid survived a couple of years, so we got the second kid coming. I think that's how you do that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I can't remember when it was I saw. No, I think it was a Sunday a couple weeks ago. I saw Jeff, and he tells me he's got a dog, and so he's worried about the dog. He's thinking about it, and he's busy, and it's just taking up so much of his time and everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, perfect. Now he knows what it feels like.
Yep.
And that was my whole thing for not wanting a dog, is because I knew as long as I could hold off my wife on not getting a dog, then I knew I could at least buy myself another year, but that was probably about it. I figured if I got a dog, the kid was probably a year behind.
There you go.
Yep.
So I was holding off, and a friend of mine posted on Facebook, so thank you, Becca. She posted this picture of this dog. It was she works at an animal hospital and had just been left tied up to a bus stop in Phoenix.
That is so sad.
Yeah, it was so sad. Like, his hair was all matted. He had a hernia, and so they brought him in. They took care of him. They neutered him. They did the surgery for him, and they shaved him and got him all cleaned up and took good care of him. And now he is home with us. We saw a picture of him. We couldn't stop thinking about him, and so we went and visited him. And of course, we had to go home with him. So his name is Chuck Finley. So for any of you Burn Notice fans out there, he's named after the alias that the Bruce Campbell character uses for his whenever he goes undercover.
And I keep calling him Charlie. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
I want to call him Charlie.
And no. Yeah, you're right. And I want to call him George. Why George? It doesn't even flow right.
I haven't got this poor guy's name right once yet. So
anyways, he's running around the house here. And
all right, beautiful. All right, so our pre-show notes that we had was talking about Chuck Finley.
Yeah.
Carly's got to get bananas at the grocery store.
I do, tomorrow.
And I need to run and get diapers. So we had really good show notes about the show before the show.
Right.
So, all right.
What's supposed to be a show about streaming movies and cheap entertainment is going to be about our grocery lists.
So here we go.
Yes. We're observing the dog now, and he has this little, what is it? It's like some kind of bed that's on the ground. And he's half in the bed, and it's like he couldn't quite get his back end over the foam.
Lampshade.
I think you're just kind of like, this is close enough.
Wait, okay, so next podcast,
That
when we
reminds me-
if we live record this again, we're just going to have a camera on the dog.
We
Absolutely.
should the whole time so
A dog
someone
cam.
knows what we're
Yeah.
going through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See what
We'll get our GoPro. That's what we should do. Get
There
our
you
GoPro,
go.
strap it onto the dog.
Oh, man, then
run
everybody will
around.
get busy.
Yeah.
Dizzy, I mean.
He is our mascot now,
He's
so
officially
there
our
you go.
mascot.
Chuck
He's
Finley
our
mascot.
All right, we
Awesome.
streamed a lot in the last 2 weeks.
Yes.
Okay, I did the same thing I did last time, and I'm going to just read off my list because
Okay.
there's only one show I'll really talk about, but I'm going to read off my whole list for you real quick. This is what I streamed in the last 2 weeks. On Hulu, I streamed Blue, that TV show with Julia Stiles I was talking about.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Season
Is it still
2,
good?
episode 1 of it.
sorry.
That's the one show I do want to talk about,
Okay.
actually, so we'll see. HBO, Game of Thrones, keeping up with that. Podcasts, I listened to the new Brothers Turner show that's on the radio network,
Okay.
which is decent, so it's pretty good, actually. The two of them are pretty funny. The new episode of We're Alive. This Week in Google, Freakonomics on how to think like a freak, so like thinking outside the box, which is a pretty good episode.
Okay.
Here's some of the big ones on Netflix. G.I. Joe Retaliation was the best part was Bruce Willis in that. He was my favorite part.
Right.
House of Cards. I finally started season 2 and episode 1. Holy crap! Like, man, this is going to be a dark season. This whole season. But the big one, my brother finally got me into watching Supernatural. I watched all of season 1, which this isn't like some cable show. This is a full 22 episodes of Supernatural that I've watched in the last 2 weeks now.
That's what you've been watching.
Wow.
Times like 40-something minutes, so like almost 20 hours of my life into Supernatural, and I'm totally hooked on it. The problem is they're in their 9th season right now, and there's all 8 seasons currently on Netflix, so I've got a lot.
Holy moly.
If I really want to watch it. But it's good. It's entertaining. So that was my long list. Blue
Good thing
is
you're
a
not
TV
like
show.
me and you have to stay focused on one show.
No.
I know, that's crazy. I
I'll just
can't
jump.
just stay focused on one show. I gotta jump.
Yeah, so I jumped. So anyways, Blue is the one I do want to talk about a little bit in depth, along with the TV channel that they created. But do you have a list for me, Jeff? Or do you have a
yeah,
rundown?
so I had a friend visit and we sort of had a 80s movie marathon.
Awesome.
And, which was
Hashtag
actually
80s
continuing.
movies.
So like last week I started watching the Beverly Hills Cops movies. So I got through the first 2 and I'm halfway through the third one. And then he came over and we watched Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and The Running Man, which were filmed the same year, if you can believe it.
They were?
Yeah, both 87. Yeah, which is really...
Oh, I didn't know that.
I know,
That's
right? It
interesting.
doesn't feel like, especially Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It feels like it could have been made yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, if John Candy was still with us, like
I
if I
know,
said it was
I know
made 10
it.
years ago, you'd be like, yeah, that sounds about right. So,
That's fun that you did
yeah,
that.
so I watched those, and then the last thing I was going to mention, I really got into. I never watched the show in its heyday because it was not the type of show my family would have watched.
What?
Cheers.
I love that show.
Yeah, like I always caught like little pieces of it
Oh,
here
but
and
you
there,
couldn't-
but my
yeah.
my mom was like, don't
Yeah,
drink, don't
sure.
So so I'm watching Cheers, and it's incredible, like all the famous people that's in it are playing like
Absolutely.
bit parts and
Yep.
stuff like
Yeah,
that,
small.
and like I don't remember Coach. Is he? I don't know if he's like in the whole thing, but in the first season, there's this guy Coach, and he's like he's a retired baseball player who's running the Cheers.
I don't think he's in the whole
place.
thing.
I don't think
is
he's
he?
in the whole thing,
No.
but he's just this like dumb guy.
Right.
And I always love the dumb guy characters, and he's
He
really
does
fun.
pop in and out.
Does he?
Through the seasons, yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I don't remember him a regular, but I think,
He
you're
was-
right.
Yeah, yeah.
Where everybody knows your name.
Yeah.
I just want to sing it now. It's horrible.
Everybody knows
It's gonna,
your name.
yeah,
All right,
it's gonna stay in your
Yeah,
head.
don't sing it
forever.
too loud
Okay.
because we don't want the copyright people to. All right, Carly, what's up with you and your story?
Okay, so I have to go back to Fargo because I ended up missing a few episodes or 2 episodes, which was lovely because again they're like an hour and 15 minutes each. So I wanted to do something which I thought was kind of funny. You know how they have reviews on whatever films, long length films, whatever, and they're always like ravishingly awesome,
Right.
So I came up with some for Fargo. This was mine. We'll start simple. Guilty pleasure, because it totally is. It's like a horrible scenario that's all true, but it's like dark comedy.
But still got that dark comedy feel. to it, right?
Exactly. So guilty pleasure, right? Creepishly hilarious. I thought
Okay.
that was clever. Nervously suspenseful, and dark and real. So we could hashtag all of those.
All right. Dark and real.
The murderous story gets so deep and twisted, it's no wonder they really honestly made this into a series. Like, I mean, it was awesome they made it into a movie. Even better that they made it into a series. There's actually a scene in the movie, I don't know if any of you remember this, where they bury, I don't want to give anything away, but they bury money in the snow on the side of the road. And you're always like, I wonder what happens to it.
Oh, they wrap it up?
Yes.
Nice.
Oh,
Yep,
wow.
you get it in the show, and you're like, what? Oh! And it kind of just, goes into what, it's great. It's fabulous.
So is it one of those shows that, like, if you're a fan of the movie, like, there's a lot of payoffs for you?
Absolutely. I
Okay.
totally, and even if you haven't seen the movie, it doesn't really matter because they're kind of
Okay.
reiterating
So
some things and then
If I've never seen the movie, it's not like.
Nope, you can go right
where
into
the hell
it.
did that bag of
no,
money come from?
No, it doesn't. You're introduced very first, the pilot, you're introduced to everything. And
Okay.
plus, because they're real actual crime scenes and real events that happened, it's just like picking up notes from a police officer and reading the report. So you'll actually get to, so you don't need to see the movie. Okay. So anyway, so that's my Fargo. which is still going. I didn't mention this before, but it's something I watch every week. It's called About a Boy. Does anybody watch it? There's actually a movie with Hugh.
I love the
I've seen
movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a show with the same premises of the movie. Great. Very. I was a little skeptical about it first because I was like, the movie's awesome and it's got Hugh Grant. But anyway, Minnie Driver is in it. She's the most famous person in it. She plays the mother of a single mom, and she's like a hippie, kind of crazy, gluten-free, crazy hippie mom with a single kid who's also dorky because of her upbringing him. They have a neighbor who is, like in the movie, I think he was a band member. Remember the movie? He was like an ex-band member, but then they like
his dad wrote that Christmas song or something.
Okay,
right?
well, in the show, he writes the neighbor wrote the Christmas song, so he just gets money continually for this. Okay,
right.
So yeah, the royalties. So anyway, it's good, and it's hilarious. Like I really have to tell you, I'm really judgmental about everything, and anything I watch, I'm just like, is it gonna satisfy me? Like I have such high standards, and this one just. Are you even surprised by that, Steve?
No, and I'm laughing because she looks at it as like, is this going to satisfy me? That's the descriptive word she's going to use for.
Well, seriously,
is this
because I'm
movie
like,
gonna
I'm not wasting
satisfy
my
me
time
when
if
I'm
it's not
done
going to
with it?
satisfy me. And all I want to laugh. I want to feel good. I want to feel like romantic when I leave. I want all the feelings to be there, and that's what this show does for me.
Well,
Plus, who doesn't like
obviously,
Did
Did you smoke a cigarette after you were done?
that's satisfying.
right?
Was it that satisfying?
It was that satisfying. No, I smoked a cigar afterwards.
Oh.
Right.
Other one, I just watched one episode of Mixology. I've been wanting to watch it, so I finally DVR'd it. It's pretty good. Does anyone know about Mixology?
Nope, hit me up.
I only watched one episode, but it's a group of friends at a bar while drinking, and they kind of play love games with everyone, trying to make hookups happen. Quite fun, really entertaining, but I've only watched one, so I need to I feel like the characters I don't know well enough, so I need to watch it again. So I'm going to start watching again.
I want to ask you, because I've seen some previous. Now, is the whole thing always set in the bar?
Yes.
Oh, sweet.
always.
Okay, that's cool.
Occasionally they leave to another bar.
But it's always
a
in
bar setting that I've
okay,
that I mean, yeah. I've continued to watch Rain, even though nobody #Rain is interested in it.
It is still it's sitting there in my Netflix queue. I swear to God, it is.
But
I
you
can pull
might
it now,
not
but I'll
be
never-
into it. It's but you might actually because it's girly and you like girly shit. So
All
this
right.
could be good for you.
I might be into it. I guess.
Last thing is I actually went to the movies on Mother's Day. My mom wanted to see Captain America, so we went to see it, and it is absolutely amazing. I mean, typical Marvel with feel-good feelings, pure excitement throughout. I made my mom laugh at one point because during the meeting, there's like I don't know if you guys saw it.
Yeah, I saw it.
So do you remember that? Help me out with verbiage here, but there's a meeting they have. It's like a digital where they channel in other people and they're digitally there.
Right.
So I look at my mom and I'm like, Mom, where's Yoda? Remember like how they do that in
Yes,
Star
the
Wars? And
hologram
she
and
just
hologram.
started cracking up. Like to the point where people were like, "What's so funny?" Because the
What did
meeting
we
was
miss?
obviously serious.
Right.
But it totally, I was like, "We need Yoda. We need insight." But a lot of things reminded me of in this particular Marvel, Star Wars, like that, for example. Not to mention some of the aircraft look like. I was like, "Look, Mom, it's the Starship Enterprise." She's like, "You're getting them all mixed up." But anyway, so that's I'm going to just say it. #Captain America, #Rain, #Mixology, #About a Boy, and #Fargo. And that wraps it up.
That wraps it all up. Whoa, all right. And I'm keeping notes of everything we've watched. So, Jeff, repeat Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
I watched the Beverly Hills Cops movies. I watched Cheers and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and The Running Man.
Running Man.
Oh, the Running Man. That's right.
I'm going to list all of these off for when we post this
Okay.
stuff, and so it's quite the list we have. So, all right, beautiful. So, Blue with Julia Stiles. I ran across this because of Hulu. This TV show, I'm only 3 episodes into it, I thought. So this TV show is about Julia Stiles. She plays this mother of a teenager. He's 12, 13 years old, single mom, who her night job is she's a prostitute. That's how
Okay.
she makes her money. But it's like, it could be the weird things. Like one of them, and it's great, in the first season, she just lays in her underwear, cuddling this guy next to her, and he's wearing a diaper. And that's just how he relaxes and spends
Alrighty
his
then.
money.
All
So
right,
she's got a
whatever.
few kinky weird guys out
Yeah.
there. So each of the episodes on Hulu, how they've been re-released, are about 30 minutes long.
Okay.
So this was released on Wigs, which is a TV channel that is a short. It's all about short series about women, and it's part of the YouTube original channel initiative that they did.
Interesting.
So
Wigs.
this is the #1 scripted drama YouTube channel. out there. And
Really?
what Wigs, their tagline is where it gets interesting, which is not Wigs, it's WIGS, not WIGI. But every single episode or TV show somehow uses that. So this one, since it's all about sex and everything like that, it's where it gets sinful is their tagline for this particular show. But every single episode is 5 to 10 minutes long.
Okay.
So when this was originally released, Blue, the episodes were average of 6 to 8 minutes from what I looked at. So there's actually 46 or 8 minute episodes, and
That's
Julia Stiles
cool.
stars and produces this, and it's been picked up for its third season because it's so popular. They have like 33 million views on their channel.
Man.
Wait, so it was on Wigs and now it's on Hulu as a half hour?
So a part of Fox bought Wigs. So, and now Fox, what they did when they released it on Hulu is they took all of those smaller ones and they recut them together into like
Okay,
single longer
yeah.
episodes.
Oh,
So it's the exact
okay.
same
I
episodes,
got
but
it.
instead of the shorter ones, it's
That's
now
quite
so like
the editing
so like
job.
season
Yeah.
1 right now. Season 1 is only 2 episodes long on Hulu, but technically it's like 15
Oh, right.
8-minute
It's a whole
episodes
bunch of
is what it
different
is.
ones.
Yeah.
So I'm on season 2, episode 1, which is technically only the third long episode in, but like episode 17.
Oh, well,
or
I have to
something
say,
on it.
good for Julia Stiles because I know she kind of got into that teeny movie thing for a little bit, and I know that really wasn't her and who she is. I read a lot of stuff about her, and so good for her for doing something that she wants to do. And I know she's big into the behind the scenes, so it's interesting that she's in this series.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. And so Wigs has a lot of this is their most popular thing, but every single one of their web series is about women some way or another. And the whole thing, let me read this for you. They have stories, and they can include a poker player on a losing streak, a mother with a secret life, that's Blue, or one show that follows a woman on a series of speed dates. And it's all revolves around women's professional life, romance, war, family structures. But like Anna Paquin's been in some of these things. Who else is a big name? Jennifer Beals was in a lot of them, and then Julia Stiles obviously does. But there's actually some big names behind all.
Are
of
they
this
all
stuff,
like
yeah.
5-minute episodic series?
Every single one of the series on Wigs itself in its original format is 5 to 10 minutes long.
Wow.
Not a single one is longer than that. And there was 6 or 7 different actual series that they have that they've released. This particular one, Blue, started in 2012, and now it's in its third series. So I will tell you this. Each one of the half-hour episodes, you get at least 5 to 10 minutes of Julia Stiles in her underwear. So that's a plus, right?
Oh, totally.
right,
That's a
yep.
good
Totally.
thing. Yeah, she's still gorgeous.
She's a cutie.
But it's a little slow, like talking heads, like the conversations between her and her son. But by the time I got into what is now the third episode, it's getting really good. And there's great backstories going on, and we're about to go to her old neighborhood, and so it's starting to get more interesting. But
Steve,
you have to stick it out.
You had said when you started watching this, when you and I were voxing about it, that you were just not into it, but you're going to force yourself to keep going. So it sounds like that ended up being a good thing for you.
It was a good thing for me, and this is exactly why streaming shows works out
Yes,
much
indeed.
better. It's just because you can watch it back to back. So if you got a couple of dry episodes, you're not going to lose. If I had to watch this week to week, I
You'd
would not have
been
picked
done.
it up.
We
I
wouldn't be
have done.
talking about it right
No,
now.
we wouldn't have been at all. But now I'm
And it's
getting
worth it,
interested
it
in the
sounds like.
backstories, and it's been worth it so far. So
The underwear just wouldn't have been that much to you.
no, I wouldn't admit that much. You know, the fact that I get it 10 out of the 30 minutes,
Yeah.
that's a good
There you go.
proportions
Yeah.
for me.
Proportion,
So,
yeah,
we're
proportion.
That's
good.
what it's all about.
All right, so there we go. That is quite the streaming list, people. Congratulations to all of
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
That was great. We did good
for
this
everything that we
last
did
couple
there.
weeks.
One thing I thought would be good to mention here, I know we were talking about Fargo and some TV stuff, is the list for canceled TV shows just came out the other day.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
So for those who want to weep, let's just go through the list really
Let's do
quick
it.
and
Let's
see if
do
there's
it.
anything on here that's going to break your heart.
Okay.
So
Okay.
ABC. The Assets, Back in the Game, Betrayal, Killer Women, Lucky 7, Mind Games, Mixology, The Neighbors, Once Upon a Time in Wonderland, Suburgatory, Super Fun Night, and Trophy Wife.
Isn't that their entire lineup?
I know.
At
What
ABC?
the hell?
Like, is there anything left?
I mean, I don't watch any of those, but I know Once Upon a Time, like everyone's into, and then Mixology just came out, dude. WTF?
Yeah. CBS, here's some big ones.
Okay.
Bad Teacher, The Crazy Ones, Friends with Better Lives, Hostages,
heard about that one.
How I Met Your Mother. Some of these are shows
Well,
that
yeah,
ended,
yeah.
not necessarily canceled. Intelligence, We Are Men. NBC, Believe, Crisis, Community, Dracula, Growing Up Fisher, Ironside, The Michael J. Fox Show, Revolution, Sean Saves the World, Welcome to the Family. CW, The Carrie Diaries, Nikita, Star-Crossed, The Tomorrow People. Fox,
Good, Rain wasn't on it.
Dads, was actually canceled. Enlisted, Raising Hope, sad. Rake, Surviving Jack, also sad. The X Factor, and
Whatever.
yeah. So
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah, so I know you guys were just talking about mixology. That's a bummer.
Yeah, well, so of everything you just listed, there's only one show I've actually ever seen any episodes of.
What?
Because I stream everything now, and Dad's is the only one. I haven't seen an episode. Well, Revolution, I take that back. I saw the first couple of their episodes.
Right.
But no, I haven't. I mean, but Dad's, I still on Hulu will catch it every once in a while.
Yeah,
and check
I
it out,
saw,
So I don't watch a whole lot of.
Raising Hope, I mean, it kind of has been waning in its later years, but I mean, if you haven't seen the first two
They're
episodes
funny.
of Raising Hope,
They're
it's really good.
hilarious.
And it was a bummer. Surviving Jack was really terrific too. I think it kind of got swept underneath the Goldmans, which is also great. But anyways,
Well,
I'm
there's your
glad that
canceled-
Rain wasn't on there because that's
Yeah.
CW. I was like
Yeah.
holding my breath for a minute.
But you know what's sad is I was having this conversation with some guys online that they were really bummed that Community was ending, and
But it's been on forever.
yeah, and it's kind of
kinda
played its
good.
course. It's good.
Sure.
They've had so much turmoil. It's hard to keep on. There's
Yeah.
talk about it going on to another life at Hulu or something like that, which would be good for them, as long as it's not an Arrested Development kind of.
I know. Don't
Right.
even go
Yeah.
there.
So, anyways, but one of the guys mentioned that Cheers, when it first came out, and this is interesting to me because I'm just starting to
Sure.
watch the show, was like literally the bottom of the barrel when it came out. Like it had a full season, and it like literally it could not do any worse than it did, and they renewed it. And the only
Interesting.
reason that they renewed it is because they believed in the show that much, and it went on to do
Oh my God, forever and
over
ever,
10
amen.
seasons.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but yeah, and it was the highest rated show forever.
I remember watching
And
it
it's
with
like
my mom.
how long, especially Fox, who's like notorious for making great shows and canceling them after.
Indeed, they are.
It's like how sad is it that a lot of these shows wouldn't?
Well, but then also, it's back in that day, if you're comparing, there's not going to be as many shows as there are now.
Right.
By far, Jeff.
Right.
So, I mean, that's why it seems so horrific, but yeah.
And then also, just so you know, Parenthood and Parks and Rec has also been confirmed that this will be their last season.
Oh,
coming up.
Parks and Rec is the best.
It's great, but I kind of feel like it's
coming to an end. It's time.
It's just time for
Oh, I
some-
agree.
yeah.
But it's just the best ever.
It's been a really fantastic show though.
I will marry Ron if anything ever happens to Carl.
Ron Swanson.
I'm just saying.
Swanson, he's your man.
He's my man.
have a lot of men.
I have a bobblehead of him. I look at him every day.
You have a lot of men. Speaking of all of Carly's men,
Oh,
so
no.
James Franco.
Oh, yes, he's one of them.
If you follow him on Facebook or anything, it's just awesome.
Hilarious.
It's awesome because you're gonna at least once a week gonna get a selfie shot of him waking up in bed.
Yes, and he eats in bed too.
And he-
takes the worst selfies. They're like from bottom up, so you can see like triple chins with like ranch coming out the side of his mouth. And there's something about it that's sexy.
And his beard can be awkward. It's just,
Oh, yeah.
but yeah, it's something totally odd about it. So I'm gonna do this to a buddy of mine tomorrow. I'm gonna wake up in the morning and take a selfie of myself in bed, and I'm gonna send it to him.
Oh my
And I'm gonna hashtag it with Francoed.
Okay.
And I'm going to start Francoing people, I think.
Ooh, I
is
like
what's
this
gonna happen.
idea.
So I'm going to start randomly, and it's
That
gonna
might
be the
only
most
work for
awkward.
guys.
But yeah, no, it's going to be because he's a fan of James Franco too, and so he's going to love it.
You're
so
gonna be like, you just got Franco.
yeah, exactly.
I like
and I'm
it.
going to hashtag the text I send to him. It's
I love
tomorrow
it.
morning. Picture. You've been Francoed.
You should eat in bed too, like he does.
Just some crumbs. It's awesome though, and that's everything I've seen of him is pretty much a selfie of
Yep.
some sort.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
standing
most of
in
his
New
stuff
York,
selfie.
whatever it is.
Or it'll be
all
him like
selfies.
selfie with fans in the background. I love
Yeah.
it. He's
Yeah.
great.
So there you go. All right. Are we ready for some second base or anything?
Yeah, let's
All right,
get
let's
into
hit
it.
this up. Let's get emotional.
Oh no.
This is a little segment we like to call How to Get to Second Base for $1. Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to talk about that movie.
Okay.
Okay?
Hey,
I
that's a
mentioned it
first.
The last 3 or 4 podcasts, I didn't even have to
Actually,
go there.
since I started.
Yeah, so
Technically,
we're
yeah.
past the mentioning of the name. Now we're just mentioning in reputation.
Yeah.
The
So,
reputation.
One of these days,
so
we're
you're
gonna get
out
to
of
the point where
Next
nothing.
time, yeah.
you're out of the honeymoon stage.
I'm out of the honeymoon stage. I'm going to completely forget about her next week.
All right, Steve. Well, it's about time for you to get to the right one.
So, here we go.
That was good. I like that.
Labor Day with Josh Brolin and Kate Winslet is the name of the movie.
Oh.
No idea.
Yeah, no, I remember seeing trailers for that.
I don't
Okay.
know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
So,
Oh, wait, yes, I know.
Saw trailers
That guy.
for- yeah,
Yes,
he's,
yes.
he's a convict, ends up crashing at
Yes,
their house,
that's
all
the
this
guy.
stuff.
Mhm.
So this movie is not necessarily at all what the trailers made it out to be.
Really?
It was actually really good, like from a writing standpoint, and the entire movie. So Tobey Maguire is in this movie.
What? Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly, people.
Why did they do that? Why did they F up the trailer?
Well, so they did it because they were, I'm sure they did it because they were going for, and it's probably the only way you could do a
What?
good trailer of this movie. They're going for trying to get the romance side of this whole movie, but it's so deep. So Tobey Maguire plays the son when he's older.
Okay.
And so he does the entire voiceover, and I recognized the voice pretty quick, but I had to look it up to see, and sure enough, that it was him. But he's also in the end of the movie, Tobey Maguire is.
Oh, okay.
But what it is it's these 4 days when this convict is at their house and hiding away from the cops because he escaped from jail, and he was in jail for murder. But there is a great story behind what he was in jail for, behind the mother, Kate Winslet, and why she's so depressed and a homebody type of thing, and has to do with losing 3 of her children, is what it is.
my
It's
God.
a very emotional, dramatic movie, but it's so beautiful, and I fell in love with him, Josh Brolin, in this. Just how
a great actor.
great his character was in
He's a
this.
great actor.
But I felt like by the end, it was more so teaching this son what true love was and everything. And it's what the son became due to this 4 days that he saw how his mother and this man were together.
wow.
And they never slept together in this 4 days, anything like that. It's just like, it was a great feel on the emotional attachment. Like there is this amazing scene where he's teaching them how to make peach pie of all things. And like the way that it's cut and everything, like it just gets very deep, like emotionally. And the kid, he's 13 when this is happening. He's going through puberty and all this stuff. He's got these different. He's got this girl that he's got a crush on at school and everything. But it ends great, and it did not end like I thought it would, which always gets me in a good way
yes,
for a movie.
totally agreed.
So it was definitely
So it's
well
like
worth
passionate,
it.
emotional.
It was passionate. It was emotional. It was talking about the 4 days that completely affected his life.
How amazing.
and
Do you
how it
know
all
about the
wraps up.
story, though? Like, is this like based on any true events, or is this just amazing writer?
I don't know. I did not look to see if it was based on
Okay.
true events or, in a book or anything like that. But it was not what the trailer made it out to be.
What's
And
it
I think
called again?
it's
Labor Day, right? Okay.
Labor Day
I'm
is
gonna
what it's
watch it now
called.
that you said this.
And there were just so many great stories. It was great, and the ending of it is beautiful.
It was based on a book, but it wasn't real.
Okay, but then what a great writer. What a great writer.
Just great writing in it, and it will definitely, just because of like the passion that you see, but it's about a deep love. And there's a great scene where Kate Winslet is sitting with her son, and they're on a hammock, and she's trying to have the conversation about the birds and the bees with him. And he's like,
no.
no, I already know about that stuff. I talked to Dad about that, the ex-husband, and she says, no, it's more than just the exchange of fluids. It's
She was talking Carly language.
there's a deeper, more emotional thing, and just some great conversations and everything in it. So the writing was really good.
I
And
need to see this.
the fact that it was not how I thought it was going to be.
Is she American in this movie?
Yes, she is.
Okay,
Yep.
so she has her American.
She's
accent.
American, and based on the police car stuff, I'd say it's like a late 70s like era or something
yeah,
like that.
it looks
early 80s,
older, yeah.
older movie. And then very intense scenes in it too, though. Like when
Okay.
the cops are involved, or even when they first run into Josh Brolin, like the way it plays out, you don't know necessarily what's going to happen or
That's the best
how it
then.
might happen. So yeah,
You don't know.
So very good movie though. I would suggest that
Thank
just for
you,
the writing alone.
Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Good job, Steve. All right, nicely good. Yeah, all right, good.
That was a good surprise, though. I like hearing stuff like that
Yeah, I was happy
because that trailer did not prevail that whatsoever. Didn't no.
No, and it was really one of those trailers that I watched it and I felt like, okay, I saw the movie.
Yeah,
There's really
me
nothing
too.
for me to.
Absolutely.
There's no reason to spend 2 hours
Yeah.
on this.
We
So
know what
that's-
happens,
yeah.
whatever, but apparently
Right.
we don't.
No.
So we need to see it.
So good job, Steve. That was that's actually got me intrigued too.
All right, what's next on the agenda, people?
Are we doing any of our obsessions?
Oh, I have a few facts about my girlfriend.
Well, I have a few facts about my boyfriend.
All right, well then we have no intro for this yet, but let's get to it.
Bummer.
Obsessions.
Go first, Steve.
My girl Jennifer Lawrence. I've got a couple of little things for you.
Okay.
Her first recurring role was on the Bill Engvall show on TBS.
What?
Yes.
Really? What
She
year
played
was
Engvall's
this?
daughter, Lauren, from 2007 to 2009 for the entire show.
That show was on that long?
Yeah, I didn't even know like it was on that long, let alone that she was in it. And the little clip that they have is of like her in a bikini top. So I'm like,
hey.
that's okay. I need to check this check this show out. But yeah, she played a part on that show. And then the other one that I really loved in here, she was a complete tomboy in school, which makes sense. She was
Totally.
not allowed to play with a lot of the girls because she was too rough, according to the teachers.
Oh.
Wow.
So, yeah.
But I'm not really surprised. Are you?
No, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised she was like voted like most talkative or whatever. You watch any interview of
She's
her,
spicy.
she just goes off.
You know, she's
Yep.
feisty and spicy.
If you Google Bill Engvall show Jennifer Lawrence, the first thing that pops up is actually a bikini.
There you go.
Oh,
so
that's
That's
interesting.
it. And she has no formal training at all. She has never even enrolled at the drama program at her school.
Hilarious.
So.
That's the best when it's like that, though. I mean, honestly, it's the best also when they've had formal training and they're amazing because then it shows that it works. But that's some natural. That's what's in her, it's
Totally-
in her spirit and what she's meant for.
found. Yep.
But the thing that's disconcerting about that is, we talked about a little while ago how it's kind of like, all right, we feel like we've seen the Jennifer Lawrence character at this point, and she might overstay her welcome, like unless she
That's a good point.
breaks out of that sort of.
And she probably will.
And she will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure she will.
She will. There'll
Yeah.
be other writers that want her for something different and will challenge her character, I'm sure. Which was much needed. I agreed.
Yeah. Otherwise,
Yeah,
getting
then we're seeing the
regurgitated
same thing. Yeah.
right now. So
Right.
and it's losing its cuteness.
That's
Jennifer.
how I feel
Yeah,
about Nicolas
but-
Cage. I feel like he never changes his
Yeah,
character.
that's the
He's
unless you
same.
see like adaptation where he really.
That
did
is true.
something
He is different
unique.
in that one. That's
yeah,
true.
But that's
1 out
going
of
to be the
700.
difficult part for Jennifer Lawrence, where she sort of gets pigeon-toed unless you
Mm-hmm.
have training to be able to, that's the one thing that training
That's a
can
good
offer
point,
you is
Jeff.
some diversity. So I'm hoping for the best for her because she's really terrific, and I've really liked her in the stuff I've seen her in.
You bring up a good point.
So
Are we ready for Benedict Cumberbatch?
Yes.
Cumberbatch me.
I only have a few. I thought this was really interesting, and I really read into this, and I watched some interviews by him. He was nearly killed in South Africa, and he was carjacked, him and a few other people.
recently,
No, in like the last 7 years.
okay,
So he was at this point well known though in films, but
Okay.
it was like a serious thing that happened, obviously, and they like put bags over their heads and ended up like for
wow.
a few hours not knowing where they were, transported from car to car, and then dumped them in the middle of the desert and left them. So they were able to take off their bags off their heads and be grateful for life, and they eventually found someone that picked them up and whatever. But apparently that was really obviously like it would be for all of us life affecting for him, and
right.
how much more appreciative he is about how precious life is.
Yeah, right.
Does he know why? I mean, obviously they weren't looking for some sort of ransom. Why would they take him out?
He doesn't have any. When I watched a few of the interviews, like I watched a couple of them, or actually
Right.
3 of them, because I was trying to see, like, well, is there a story behind it?
Right.
He literally has. It was him and 3 other people, and they were there, I think, for research, is what he said, on a character film or
Right.
whatever, and he had no idea. It was one of those like, what the fuck do you want us for? Maybe they got the wrong people. It was suggested they thought they had the right people, but it was the wrong thing, and that's why they dumped them, because they're like, well, we don't need these people now. They're useless to us.
What an interesting
But
life. Jeez.
when he talks about it, you can really see, because he's kind of a funny guy, believe it or not.
Right.
And when he talks about it, it's just kind of sad. Like, you can totally see how it's affected him. But I think that's interesting. Like, that probably helps him in his career when he has to
Yeah.
like be in certain scenes or situations.
Yeah, how dumb is that? You put a bag over Sherlock's head and put him in the middle of the desert. He's gonna find his way back.
Wait a second. Wait
Yeah.
a second. Are you really saying that?
seen?
Have you even
What?
seen any of them?
No, I just know he's
Uh-huh.
Sherlock.
Okay, last one. I think this is pretty obvious, but he has narrated documentaries for both National Geographic and Discovery. His voice is quite soothing and awesome.
Pleasing.
It's pleasing. I'm just going to say it's satisfactory.
Satisfying,
Carly.
yes, I was going to say.
So what you're saying is you're waiting for the Benedict reading of 50 Shades of Grey.
I have not read that, but that would be way better. I'd rather start off with that.
Would you do the audiobook if he read it?
Yes.
Okay.
I would, as long as he's narrating it.
Yes.
But what I was going to say is that he did this, I think it was for Jimmy Kimmel, where he did anyone see that? Where he did, it's like 20 seconds, where they asked him to read R. Kelly lyrics, but like in his own voice. And he's saying like, so he's reading them, and he's a theater guy. That's where he started.
Right.
So he's very theatrical. So he they put him on the stage, and it's like all black curtain and everything, and then the light spotlight comes on him, and he's like, it is horrific. I will just say the lyrics, because most rap lyrics are pretty vulgar. Right. And he's like, in his English, very thick English accent, is like, I will put my big black nun on your Oreo. And it was like horrific to really listen to it, but it was just quite comical because it's him reading those lyrics. And like the American audience were like freaking out. And anyway, those are my facts. We really need an intro to the obsessions.
Well, Sam, I normally have to pick a winner here, but I think you should do the honors this time.
Oh, yeah, there's always a winner. It's either going to be Jennifer or Benedict.
Yeah, you got to pick a winner here.
Oh.
I have a feeling Sam will always pick Jennifer.
Well, it's either Jennifer in a bikini or some dude with a bag over his head in the middle of the desert. I'm going with a bikini on this one.
All right.
You won this time, Steve. This time you won.
This is the time.
I need to start keeping score, I guess, because I don't know what
I don't know either.
Is,
well, I think I've pretty much won every time.
I think
that might be my first.
This is your
so
first
it's like
win.
2-1 then, right?
I think 2
okay.
or 3-1.
All right. Something like that.
No, 3-1.
3-1?
It's 3-1. Okay. It's 3-1.
Is your fourth podcast with us already?
Yeah, because remember threesome.
Did we do this on the first one?
Yes, we did.
We did?
Okay. We absolutely did. And you actually voted for me right away.
The first one, remember? Yeah, thanks a lot, Jeff. Yeah. We're breaking up now.
You're welcome.
The first one was
breakups
JGL.
That's right. Yeah, and I won. You said I won, right?
Joseph Gordon,
Yep.
So, yeah. Well, now I think it's Jeff's turn, and then we have speed round, don't we?
I've got some speed rounds for you.
I have some speed rounds.
I'm going to speed round you. Oh, yeah.
I have a fun
I don't even know who I'm supposed to ask him to, but
I don't know.
ask.
It'll be Sam's choice.
Going to answer.
Sam decides.
All right, well, let's get film history out of the way then.
It's time for This Week in Film History.
All right, so this one I thought would be fun to discuss. I'm trying to avoid some monologues for a while.
Discuss, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been doing a lot of looking at top 10 lists, and in the past month I've watched 2 of my top 10 movies, and so I started thinking about what my top 10 list would be. Like, we last time we talked about my list is a critic, and my list is just Jeff, who likes to watch movies and enjoys being entertained and stuff like that. So I just wanted to focus on the list as a critic.
Okay.
So to give you an idea, to kind of put things in perspective, I'll give you the sort of top 10 lists that are out there. And the first one is AFI, the American Film Institute, right? Mm-hmm. They've always done theirs, and it's been fairly consistent. So their top 10 is number 1, going down, Citizen Kane, obviously, Casablanca, The Godfather, Gone with the Wind, Lawrence of Arabia, The Wizard of Oz, The Graduate, On the Waterfront, Schindler's List, Singing in the Rain, It's a Wonderful Life. That's sort of their top.
Those are, those are great.
Yeah, obviously
everything was
classic
listed I
choices. Sound and Vision, which I think is a British magazine. They did their poll where they send out their people to film industry people, and they did their top 10. And since they're from Britain, it has a little bit more international flair to it, right? And so the big to-do was that this was the first year that Citizen Kane was overtaken on the number 1 spot. And it wasn't The Godfather, and it wasn't Casablanca. For the first time, Vertigo by Hitchcock.
What?
Hitchcock?
Yeah.
For real?
Vertigo, for real, took the number 1 spot. So Vertigo
when was this poll done or whatever?
This was done a year ago, I believe.
Wow.
So
why did people all of a sudden start watching Vertigo?
Well, no, it's just one of those things that, as time goes by, different things sort of sift to the top, even older films. So, like, one of the big jumps in the last AFI one that they did was Buster Keaton's The General. It wasn't even on the list when they did it 10 years prior, but when they redid the list in 10 years, it went from off the list to number 12.
Wow. Okay.
Weird.
So it's just how things change. And the same thing,
sure.
like It's a Wonderful Life. It's in everybody's top 10
Yeah.
list,
Yeah.
but when it came out, it was kind of a dud. So it's just one of
Interesting.
those things that as time goes by, people sort of remember things differently,
Yeah.
see it in a different light, things like that.
It's a Wonderful Life is not in my top 10, just so we're clear on
Mine
that.
either, just so we're clear.
Will
a fan
be
of
in
it.
mine, just so
No.
that there's a
Okay.
heads up. All right, so Sight and Sound. Here's our top 10. Number 1 is Vertigo.
Okay.
Number 2 is Citizen Kane. Number 3, Tokyo Story. And then there's a French film called the Rules of the Game, Jean Renard. Sunrise, A Song of Two Humans. 2001, A Space Odyssey. The Searchers. Man with a Movie Camera. The Passion of Joan of Arc, which I hear is fantastic. I haven't seen
Ooh,
it
I
yet.
haven't seen that either.
And 8.5, which I haven't seen it yet, but every film student should. So I feel really embarrassed by that.
Bad, Jeff. Bad.
Yeah. So anyway, so this is my list. And putting this list together, I kind of felt like the first 4 were sort of solid picks. They're pretty good in there, and the next 6 were sort of. Yeah, I could do this list for you again in 6 months, and it might be completely different. I don't know.
Okay.
So, anyways, this is where I'm at, just sort of thinking of things right now. This is my top 10 as a critic list. And I'm going to start at number 1 because there's more surprising ones at the bottom. I think that'll be interesting, right? So. Here we go. Number 1, obviously I've talked about this before. Number 1, Casablanca.
Yeah,
Great
absolutely.
film.
No, but I totally,
It's
yeah.
great. It's
yeah.
got everything.
Put it in
It's
the top.
got.
It's classic.
It's classic. It not only and I keep contrasting it
music.
with Orson Welles' movie, in that it's entertaining. It's just really fun to watch. It's romantic.
I was
It's
gonna
funny.
say, it
It's
has
dramatic.
everything,
It's
yeah.
engaging. It's
Yeah.
got great dialogue. It's got everything you want in a film. So, anyways, Casablanca. We've talked about this one. Number 2, City Lights by Charlie Chaplin.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, Sunrise, A Song of Two Humans, which is by the same guy who did Nosferatu, by
never seen
F.W.
that.
Monroe.
Okay.
It's really great. I have the
You have
Blu-ray
it?
over here
Okay.
from the library that I'm watching again.
Oh.
It's one of those. It's the same thing. It's sort of like you laugh, you cry, you
Those
feel
are the
for.
best
Yeah,
when it's
and
got
the
everything.
cinematography. It's one of those movies that has so many layers upon it, where you watch it and the cinematography is just telling you things that are this like carrying
my
you in a
God,
story.
yes.
It's so
That's
beautiful.
beautiful,
It's
yeah.
a beautiful, and it's one of those stories. It's a silent film, but it was made right shortly after talkies kind of took over things. So it's kind of at the
That's
pinnacle of
neat
the
that
craft.
that happened. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that you kind of have to be in the right mood to watch it.
Okay.
But there's just
Okay.
layers of meaning, and Shireen's watching it, and she is totally into it, and she's not a film
Right.
buff.
Sure.
All right, so number
You're on
3,
4?
Sunrise, A Song of Two Humans. Number 4, sorry guys, It's a Wonderful Life. I think it's
It's
an
cute.
amazing film.
Whatever.
Number 5, and now we're going to start getting into some interesting films.
Okay.
American Beauty.
Well, that's a trademark, and it's
Okay.
a yeah.
All right. Number that was 5. Number 6, Annie Hall, Woody Allen.
Totes my goats.
Really great. Ron Howard's masterpiece, Beautiful Mind, which
Oh,
the
yes.
story structure is
Yes.
fantastic.
Very,
in that.
very.
Yes.
Number 8, one of the most beautiful films you'll ever see, Amélie by Jean-Pierre Jeunet
I
that we were
love
already talking
Amelie.
about. And the 2 big surprises, 9 and 10. 9, Spielberg's Jurassic Park,
Why is it a surprise?
because it's more of a summer blockbuster
More of a popcorn movie, yeah.
right?
Well,
is what
yes.
a normal person would think of it.
Yes, you are correct, but it's also so groundbreaking for
Yes.
that time when it
Yes.
came out, and I think that is why it made this list.
And it still holds its own today, 20-something years later.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and that's when they knew it was when that came out.
yeah, it's one of
The
those
score, it's one of those all around. I interrupted you.
No, yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I
Yeah.
mean, it's one of those movies that you sort of see. It's one of those movies you see movies before Jurassic Park and after Jurassic Park.
Exactly.
Kind of like Star Wars. But the other great thing about it too is the cinematography tells a story, the music tells a story,
Yes.
the acting. I mean, even though it's not an Oscar worthy.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I get
But
what you're
every
saying.
character is.
The
think how
storyline-
unique
oh,
those characters
totally.
are. I mean, each character you never forget. Oh, hey, was it this guy or that guy? It's
Yeah,
like they're so
know.
unique, right?
Yeah.
And the other great thing too is it tells us something about humanity,
Mm-hmm.
which is a big thing about film. I mean, you always watch Oscars are always about showing the mirror up to humanity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how much of that about man playing God, and the stuff that that was being brought up about should we do this? Should we not that? You know, things
Sure.
like that. So it's a lot of great reflective
Jeff, that's a
things
great
about
point. That's a great point.
So-
that should not go missed, by
that.
the way.
And I think that's a very valid reason for putting it in the top 10 because it's something, it tells us something about ourselves that we should be reflective
Yeah.
upon.
Right.
So that, and then the last one, and I surprised myself by putting this on there because it's so recent. I tend to think you should at least let a movie sit before you put it on there.
Okay.
And
is
I wasn't expecting it, but 12 Years a Slave.
Oh, I haven't seen it, so I
Really?
can't really.
It just came out, this year. Because I just watched this movie this past month, and it's such it's a dance, really. I mean, number one, obviously, it tells us something about humanity. It tells us something about ourselves and our past and the ownership of another human. And it's such a real thing that has happened within the last, couple hundred years of our existence, especially here in our culture. But the other really great thing about it is, it's a layers and layers. I mean, Hans Zimmer did the music for it.
I didn't know that.
Unbelievably compelling. The cinematography is beautiful. The editing and pacing is fantastic.
Oh, remember I told you guys about that fact?
Yeah,
about
so
that.
I watched the
It
NPR
was
thing that you listened
ridiculously.
to. Yeah.
The editing.
So
was
that's really
crazy.
great. And the other really good thing about too is it's a movie about slavery, and it's really uncomfortable to watch. You know you're gonna cry. You know you're gonna be feeling bad.
Uncomfortable,
But it wasn't sensationalistic. He wasn't going into it saying, "Hey, let me show you the worst parts of slavery, and let me make you like." Remember this movie a while back? It was called Irreversible. Like they have those kind of movies where they come out and they're like, it's going to be so impactful that you're going to walk away and you're going to be so scarred for life.
Well, instead, what is it doing then?
Yeah,
What is
and-
this one doing?
Yeah, instead, this one isn't focusing on how graphic can I make this. Instead, it's focusing on how can I compel the issues in the story and provoke the emotions. And he does the graphic parts of the film as needed.
Okay.
He doesn't
okay.
try to make you.
He's
like
not trying to be Quentin Tarantino.
Right.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, he's not trying to be over the top. He's not trying to scar
Which I
you
love,
for
by the way.
life.
I don't want to diss
He's
that,
not
but yeah.
trying to focus on sensationalism at the sacrifice of story and the power of the message of the film. He's not sacrificing the message.
Okay.
He's using those elements as needed. So when there's a really brutal scene, it's as needed.
Right.
Well,
So-
you sold it to me, no pun intended.
Yeah.
I want to watch it
You
even
should,
more now.
You
even
should
more
see,
now.
and literally, I will tell you, I was skeptical going into this movie because I was literally not another white guilt movie. Like I hated
Sure.
hearing
Well, you're
about
white,
this
so I
movie.
totally
Yeah.
get it.
I was I was tired of The Help
Sure.
and the 42 and Lincoln and gosh, I probably say
Wow,
your
this
name.
has affected you.
Yeah,
Obviously.
10 other, and it's Bill Burr. Like Google Bill Burr and white guilt. Like he does this whole thing about like at what point.
Do we stop?
Yeah, it's like at what point he's like I only have so much guilt that I can sort of lay out when I watch these movies or whatever, right? But then when you watch that movie, it's so it's just so well done.
Well, I'm excited,
It wins
Jeff.
you over. It's really, I mean, that
It has gotten rave reviews.
and I was all set for voting for Gravity. Gravity was so good last
Which
year.
I still have not seen, and I have
amazing.
issues with it. Why do
Yeah.
Why?
Well, you need to watch it, and if you watch it, you need to let us know what you think of that movie because I'd be
Alright.
interested in.
I'll add it to my damn list.
Specifically when Sandra Bullock takes her clothes off.
Yeah. And her
I
yoga
have
pose.
I have a mention of her in my speed round.
Okay, so top 10 list. Is there anything
Well-
that you guys wanted to?
No, I would knock your number 4 off the list completely, and
Replace it
I
with A
am
Christmas Story.
surprised with number 10. That is surprising because of how new it is, and
Yeah.
definitely agree completely with Jurassic Park and Casablanca for sure. Casablanca would be in the top 3 for me.
Well,
too.
I'm going to come up with my own top 10, just so you know, for the next podcast.
I'd have to think about it, but yeah.
Yeah, if you guys want to, go ahead. Sam, you too. Come up with your top 10 list. I'd
Okay.
be anxious to hear your guys' and kind of compare them and see. And again, just come up with a list because again, if I did this in 6 months, I'd probably
Change it.
something.
Sure.
And same for you guys. But just to make the list, the
Yeah,
list, I think
I'm
going
to do it. You know, I always do it in my head with music. So this is going to be a challenge for me, and I accept the challenge.
Excellent.
And I will bring it to the motherboard in 2
Excellent.
weeks. Okay.
All right, so speed round.
Okay, before we get into the intro,
Yes.
how are we doing this? Is Sammy doing the same
Yeah,
thing?
Sam
choosing who asks
chooses
who?
who says who.
I have a speed round that
Okay.
all of you get to participate in.
Ooh,
The
I
rest of
like
it,
that.
You guys
Mix it
can
up.
decide however
Well,
you
then
want to.
my
Then fine. Then maybe Carly and I will just ask each other the
Let's
questions.
just do that, okay?
All right. Speed round. Here we go.
All right, so I guess Carly, you and I are going to ask
I
each
guess
other
we
questions
start
because
first.
Jeff just left
Went
the
to the
room. So
loo.
went to the loo, if you will.
He has his
You-
own speed round right now.
Okay, I think you should ask me first.
Okay, I will ask you first.
What are
10
the
questions.
directions?
Just fast paced. There's first thing that comes to your mind type of thing.
Oh, Lord.
I'm going to make this as these are simple. Don't
Oh,
worry,
okay.
I'm a guy. This is simple stuff here.
I know. Well, Jeff did not have so simple.
Oh.
You're usually pretty simple.
Fa-
You're pretty vanilla.
Yeah.
pretty vanilla.
I
Pretty
wouldn't know
white.
how to.
You are really white.
Yeah, pretty easy. All right. Favorite iPhone app that you use all the time?
Instagram.
Does the thought of a zombie apocalypse excite you?
No.
First cartoon that comes to your mind?
But bugs. What's it? Buggy. Nope. Can't think of it.
Bugs Bunny?
Thank you.
Okay. MacGyver or Jack from 24?
MacGyver.
I like my salsa spicy like I like my Steve, or I like my salsa PG?
Oh my god. Oh my god. I guess I like my salsa like I like my Steve.
Wasn't even meant for. That's awesome. You're driving 6 hours away from Phoenix. Where are you heading?
California.
Have you ever seen a 3D movie?
Yes.
What was it?
It was a documentary on seals and I threw up.
Ooh,
I can't handle 3D. I
Oh,
can't handle
okay.
it. It hurts my brain.
Interesting. All right. I'm going to mention something. I just want to know the first movie that comes to your mind.
Go.
What movie could you watch every single week?
I don't have anything that's coming to mind.
Okay. What is the first movie you can remember seeing in the movie theater?
I don't know.
Name a movie with Harrison Ford starring in it.
Star Wars?
Okay, that's fine. That's the first one that came to my mind. And name a movie with Julia Roberts in it.
Pretty Woman, which I don't like.
All right. Yeah, you didn't have to like it. Just first one
Yeah.
that came to your mind.
Yeah.
Okay. Whew, speed rounded up.
Sorry, I don't have a lot. I didn't answer some of those. I apologize.
Just the two. That's all right. The salsa was the important one.
Apparently.
I had these questions written, Jeff, and I was kind of hoping that Sammy was going to pick you because this would have been funny. And my question was, do you like your salsa spicy like you like your Steve, or do you take your salsa PG? But I had to ask Carly
Steve.
that. And so, yeah. That's,
Yeah, well, I picked Steve, too.
She
I
picked
mean,
Steve, too.
who wouldn't
Spicy.
pick
Who doesn't
Steve?
like
Wouldn't.
Who doesn't?
Agreed.
Exactly. Who
All
wants
right, I
that
guess,
mild?
do you...
Question me, Carly.
Was it my turn to you?
Yeah.
Okay, red car or blue motorcycle?
Red car.
Pen or pencil?
Pen.
Do I resemble Sandra Bullock?
No.
Marry your cousin or your ex's sibling? Meaning, you divorce Tiffany, you marry her sibling if she had a brother, or you marry your cousin.
I would go with the sibling. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the ex's sibling.
Tattoo on your butt or tattoo on your lower back?
But.
Okay. Jim Carrey in The Mask or Jim Carrey in The Truman Show?
Ooh, Truman Show.
George Lucas or Steven Spielberg?
Steven Spielberg.
Martin Scorsese or Wes Anderson?
Wes Anderson.
Macaulay Culkin or Corey Feldman?
Corey Feldman.
Vodka tonic or whiskey sour?
Whiskey sours.
That's the end of mine.
Colors, I got an A.
You did. You answered those. I think mine were easier than yours.
We're
There's
the
not a
easy
lot
one.
of thought. I'm easy tonight.
You're easy tonight.
Right.
All right.
Okay, you
Jeff,
guys all
hit
get
me.
to participate in mine.
That's exciting.
I think.
All right, I made a Mad Lib.
Oh, God.
Oh, my Lord.
This is speed round,
I know.
Then he does these things. We had this one where I freaking was like an eagle flying over a canyon at some point.
Choose your own adventure story or something like
The
that.
choose your own adventure story thing, and Jeff.
Jeff likes to take
To the
well-known,
next level.
structured
What works?
segments and then go, forget all that.
All right.
Well, I'm nervous.
We're going to do a Mad Lib.
I remember when I was playing drums and they kept asking me to be like, "Oh, okay, we'll just do a normal beat."
Yeah.
And I was like, "No."
that?
I was like, "That's just boring."
All right. So, Mad lib me.
You guys will appreciate it. All right, so
Okay.
I'll let
How's
you
this
guys
work?
know what I'm looking for, and you
Okay.
guys just shout out what you want.
Got it.
All right, noun.
I have to think.
Do I need to refresh you guys on what these
I
things?
know what a noun is.
Are we just
Person,
supposed
place.
to yell out first?
Yeah.
Chair.
Okay.
Chair. All right.
I didn't know if we were going in
Sorry,
order or what.
I didn't either.
No.
It was kind of weird.
Person in room.
Sam,
Okay. Another person in room.
Carly,
Okay.
Carly's gonna make it this whole thing.
All right. Number.
7, 72.
2.
Sorry. Google.
Google
Search.
Search engine. Is this word association now? What's going on?
No. I'm trying to. I made the mistake of doing this in Google Docs, and it always hangs up on me. Sorry.
Oh, I thought that was a question.
Yeah, me too. I'm like,
all right,
I don't
so
get
we
it.
did 72. Give me another number.
13.
13. All right. Plural noun.
Judas Priest.
Judas Priest. Priest.
Priest. Yeah. all
Yeah,
right,
priest.
so-
That's a good one, Sam. Good
Priest.
one. You really beat me.
Okay, excellent. I need a popular location.
Hawaii.
Washington, D.C.
I heard
Whatever.
Hawaii first.
Did I hear titties?
No, Washington,
All right,
D.C.
I-
Okay.
Your titties,
Alrighty
yes, that's what I
then.
said. Popular location, titties. Can I get titties for 200, please, Alex? Thank you.
I need an adjective.
Jump.
Jump titties.
I was going to say big.
Wait, no, an adjective.
I thought jump was it's an action. That's
No. Descriptive.
A descriptive.
Oh,
That's a verb.
Voluptuous.
you're right. That is a verb.
V-O-L-U-P.
That's a hard one to spell.
Voluptuous.
It's an
All right,
adjective.
and noun. I heard titties earlier.
We'll just continue.
Oh, no.
Copy and
All right,
paste.
I need the name of a popular TV show.
Cheers.
Good
Cheers.
one.
Excellent. A unit of time.
Second.
All right, seconds. All right, an exotic location.
Washington, D.C.
That's not exotic. I'm going to say Dubai.
Washington, D.C.
No.
I heard
Oh, that is
first.
not exotic.
Sorry, I opened my mouth.
I
and
need
failed.
an adverb. Usually ends in ly. Describes
Lovely.
Lovely. Lovely. It was a lovely. An adjective.
Bulbous.
Ooh, that's good.
I don't know what that
Sam.
means. What does that mean, Sam? Bulbous.
Bulbous, it means bulbousy.
Thanks for
Oh.
that definition.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I need another number.
27. High
27.
numbers tonight.
Excellent. I need a mode of transportation.
Train.
Moped.
I said it first.
I heard train. I need an adjective.
I'm not doing adjectives. I refuse.
All
Done.
right, I need an adjective from somebody other than Carly.
Red.
Red. And I need one more adjective, not from Carly.
Nope. Not going to happen.
Poppy.
Steve, I need an adjective.
What? I was going to go blue. So
descriptive.
sorry. I know, I was going to say blue, so because you said red.
Blue.
So-
All right, blue. Sorry, Carly, you're out for the rest of the game. I need one more
Oh
adjective.
my gosh, what the
One more adjective.
crappy.
This is too many adjectives. Yeah, this is a crappy
All
situation.
right. All right, everybody. Are you ready for your Mad
Yes,
Lib?
let's
here we
hear
go.
it.
This one is about the 12A podcast.
Oh, God.
All right. Once upon a chair, Sam invited Carly to be a new member of the podcast. As a result, our ratings went up 72%, and we all made 13 priests.
Okay.
To celebrate, Steve took his family to Hawaii and bought his wife voluptuous titties.
Wow, Tiffany must be so happy.
All right, good thing she doesn't listen to the show.
Thank
All right,
God.
Sam moved to Hollywood and took over the sound unit for Cheers.
Awesome. That's great.
Back in time in the time
Yeah.
machine.
Yes.
Carly, having spent seconds as a mom,
Oh, that's actually sad.
Carly took a solo trip to Washington D.C. and enjoyed it lovely.
Okay.
Jeff did the bulbiest thing of all.
Bulbous.
He bought a 27-person train and got all the red cast and all the blue crew of 12A and took a trip around the world.
Yes.
All in all, it is pretty crappy to be a member of the 12A crew.
That was actually very clever.
Okay,
I'm
all
so
right,
glad that
nicely
you
done.
ended it on
Yes.
that, Jeff.
All right,
That
it'd be
was
crappy to
great.
be part of the 12.
Why did I have to go to DC? I could have gone to Dubai.
You could have got to do
Exotic? Is that your
Sorry.
idea of exotic?
Sorry.
All right. Well, Steve, I hope your wife enjoys
Yeah, I
your new
was gonna say,
voluptuous
Tiffany
titties.
made out really
Lucky
well. on
you.
it.
Is that what you were talking about doing later?
Franco'd.
Yeah.
Hashtag Franco.
Charlie, I hope you enjoy your lovely trip to exotic Washington.
Well, I have
DC.
family there, so I'll just stay with them.
Your
And,
27 passenger
Sam, I'm glad
train.
you finally get a
Jeff.
job as sound design, but I'm sorry
Yeah.
it's a canceled
27
TV show.
passengers.
It's all right.
It's
It's
a
popular.
shitty train, if you ask me.
27 passenger train.
With
yeah.
blue and
it's
red
his little
people.
Thomas the train.
It's
I
like
did,
red versus blue.
Yeah, I did audio design for the show Cheers in the year 2014.
That's right.
Wasn't that canceled in the 80s?
It
No.
came back.
No, it came back. You guys don't
They
know
needed a
about
new sound person.
Oh, that's
I
right.
was
that's
available.
right. All right. Well, Jeff, okay. We'll let you screw up and throw us a curve during speed round anytime.
Thank you to all the crappy members of 12A.
Yes.
Woo.
that? Crap.
All right, beautiful. Well, that was quite the long list of things to stream and everything else in between. Oh my gosh. Oh,
That was a great way to end. I
Great
love
ending.
that.
All right, so is that it?
That's it. I'm done. I
We're
cut out.
done.
Cool. All right,
Finis.
LP,
Excellent.
yes.
Well, we have a.
I'm out of beer, so.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you on the next time, and yeah, enjoy the rest of the Spreaker Network.
The 12A podcast is produced by 12A Productions and distributed by the 4-Eyed Radio Network. To learn more about the podcast or to see what other projects the 12A team is working on, check out 12aproductions.com.
We talked about Julia Stiles and titties in the same podcast. This was a good episode.
Voluptuous.
This has been another great presentation of the 4-Eyed Radio Network. You can catch more shows at 4eyedradio.com.